Hi Neha, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. So, welcome. I'm Neha Jain. I'm here with a good friend and fellow MaxFax surgeon, Dr. Subhat Shinde. We started UG together, and but our journeys took different routes after that. We didn't finish PG around the same time, and today we're here to discuss about our journeys, our respective journeys in MaxFax.
So our paths they kind of diverged, right? Immediately after my PG, I straight away went for a fellowship. After that, I straight away went for Dubai, Sida, and then that somehow, I just could not take a stop after that. But what exactly? What happened in your case?
Yeah, so after my BDS, after my undergrad was done, I think I was not ready and I was not sure what path I wanted to take. And I wanted to take some time. So I took 2 gap years. Initially, it felt like a failure. I mean, I think that's normal for anybody who takes a gap year. It felt like a failure because my batchmates, you, all of you all had immediately started PG. But with time, I obviously realized that I think I needed to take that time to analyze, to understand, and become ready what I want to do. And once I was sure that I wanted to do MDS, I knew that it was going to be OMFS and nothing else. So that's how it happened.
The way you talked about MDS, that's exactly the way I was sure about taking up Onco because, during my initial days, that is what I was always exposed to. PG mein every day it was oncology. And even after that, by the end of third year, it was just 200, 300 cases and it was only onco all the time. So I was just absolutely sure about it. But wahi tha ki, I wanted to go through it and I wanted to go it in a way ki I start operating pan India and I start operating everywhere because that was the only way that I could do it. So on that note, what was your calling? What made you choose? What made you choose whatever you're doing right?
So I think MaxFax it appealed to me during BDS days, obviously during our oral surgery posting, when you do your first extraction and that thrill that you get. I didn't get that in the rest of the departments. I mean, I did do root canals and I did do work in frosto and everything, but that thrill is unparalleled. And of course, I knew that you know the scope is wider. You get to operate on the entire face and change a person's face and their lives. So yeah, it was for me. It was there that I knew. What about you?
I just see back in my day when I was in my BDS second year, and half the people, they were busy with the wax carvings, and they were carving teeth out of wax blocks. And my uncle actually he happens to be an MCH pediatric surgeon, and by that time I was assisting him in these cases, tracheoesophageal fistulas and cleft palates and everything. So at that point of time, people were they used to talk with me that okay हम यहाँ पे wax carving कर रहे हैं and तुम वहाँ पे लोगों की किडनियाँ निकाल रहे हो. But that is what I always had the knack for it. And see, the thing is, once you jump into these things early on, so then you get a knack of that. Then your hand does not recognize any other tactile sense. My hands, I can actually say it that I don't have a very good tactile sensation when it comes to an RCT or when it comes to a probably perio surgery. Yeah. But if it's about opening a neck, I think I am the guy for it. I have been doing it. So yeah. So so what about you? You're pursuing a fellowship in
Yes.
clinical OMFS, right? So can you tell me your perspective about it?
So when I was in my residency, like I mean, we all know that not every institute can give you the full exposure of maxillofacial surgery. I mean, it is so vast, the scope. Not every institute has the means to expose you to everything. So I realized that I had to fill those gaps and I had to get a bit more exposure. So that's what prompted me to apply for the fellowship through our association. And I took the exam and I got a really good rank. And I thought, why not? I mean, I absolutely had no break. I finished my MDS final exam on 11th of November, and 13th November, I was taking the fellowship exam. So there was absolutely no break for me. But I think it was a good decision because I'm learning a lot. The exposure is passive here.
All right.
And yeah,
So does that open you to a lot of travels? Are you planning any of it?
travels in terms of operating.
Travels?
Yes, yes, definitely. We operate all over the city with my mentor, who is my guide in the fellowship. We travel all over the city. And the thing is, when you're in a college, you have your professor and your guides with you. But when you go to a private practice, the scene is completely different. So I'm picking that up in this fellowship, which is a clinical fellowship, and learning the difference between how an institutional department works and how private practice works, and I'm picking up the little nuances and the soft skills that are required So whenever I probably put up my practice, if I do, these are going to be really helpful for me.
Because see, traveling, in my opinion, traveling will bring you the kind of glory. Because see, when you travel and operate, you're not technically operating for money, you're operating for glory because whoever is calling you. So I travel to Bangalore, I travel to Kashmir, I travel across the country. I am going to be coming to Hyderabad very soon when you open up your own center, Vijayawada for that fact, and Dubai, obviously, last but not the least. So whenever somebody calls you, I mean, you're the consultant surgeon, it means that they are putting their faith in you. They trust your surgical skills over theirs, and that's a matter of pride for me. That brings you the kind of glory that, I mean, nothing else will.
But how do you do it? I mean, you travel all over the country and UAE. It must be challenging. Like, how do you manage your time and how do you cope with that?
There's just one simple key. I just keep one thing in mind. See, I've operated on Europeans, Turkish people, people from Pakistan, Iran. So basically, the thing that I keep in my mind is, uh, once you make that first incision, everything else that I'm going to see inside is going to be the same anatomy. It does not matter who you're taking an incision on. The moment you take an incision, the view that I'm going to get is going to be a familiar one. It's not like I'm going to be surprised with something that I've not seen before. And okay, on that note, I would like to ask you one last question. Like, you're just coming up, and very soon you're going to be a senior maxillofacial surgeon, right? So, what do you think are going to be a non-negotiable skills for a surgeon?
I think what I'm learning right now with all my exposure that I'm getting is, uh, that unwavering farm during a high pressure situation because things change in the OT. What you've planned, it's not going to go the exact same way. So that calmness is what will help you get through the surgery smoothly. So and I think also another little thing that I find is humility, knowing your limitations, knowing where you need help. For me, I know you're here to help me out, and you're going to be
It's very
carrying to help to fight as well. So yeah, these are my non-negotiables.
Yeah, I think this is just out for the people who are listening to us. One non-negotiable skills, I don't think a lot of people are going to like my answer. But one non-negotiable skill that I want you guys to have is a surgical acumen. Because what I have seen is, more often than not, people, they do not respect the tissues, neither hard tissues nor soft tissue. And when you don't respect the tissues give you back. So one thing that I would like you guys to have is a surgical acumen, all right? And on that note, thank you. Thank you very much for giving us your time.
So for all the interns and the young surgeons watching, what would be one advice? I know what I'm going to say, but what would be your advice to them if they're looking to go into OMFS?
See, I'll be very honest about one thing. When you look at surgery from a third person's perspective, what you're going to see is glory and glam and, open next. My entire point is, it's a calling. Okay, it's a calling. Don't do it for glory. Do it for the purpose. The purpose is actually, see, when you take an incision over somebody, that's your signature on them. So make sure every time you're taking an incision, make sure you do it as good as you would like your signature to be. Okay, it's a purpose, it's a calling. It's not for the glamour, it's not for the glory. Of course, money is a byproduct that comes with time. Be patient with yourself, be patient with people, but you should always remember why you chose it, and that has to be the purpose of healing and curing. And that is all. You have to leave your signature, and that to a damn good one on it.
So well said.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
मेरा advice है कुछ नहीं मुझे.
Gonzo. Okay, right. And of course, what would be your advice to an undergraduate who would like to pursue surgery?
So from my entire journey with all the gap years and with all the roller coaster of a journey, I realized that you're on your own timeline. Everybody has your own journey. So enjoy the journey. And comparison is the devil of joy. So just wait it out and do it on your own time. Thank you.